I really enjoyed these ones too.
And Fire Red, Leaf Green, and all that.
Yeah, these ones were just as good as the original. You know, this is kind of where the last generation where they made really great games to me. Just the little things that they added, such as like being able to like dive and I believe, is this the generation that weather got added to it?
Yes.
Yeah, and just little things like that, and overall, like, just because technology improved and it was on shit.
Yeah, it was on
SP. Yeah, and like the graphics just looked better, and I thought that really just added a lot to it, and just the Pokemon were just awesome. You know, the legendary Pokemon were cool. Groudon and Kyogre or whatever, and
Rayquaza.
Yeah, Rayquaza. You know, they were just as fun to catch as, you know, Zapdos or Entei or Lugia or some of them. You know, it was fun, and those games were just as fun as the old ones, if you ask me.
Okay. In the third gen, I owned multiple copies of Sapphire and Emerald, and I'm pretty sure I had Ruby at one point. I don't remember, but
Why'd you own multiple copies?
I had like 3.
Did you keep losing them, or?
No, I just kept getting them given to me, so I had a bunch of them, and I liked a lot of the new Pokemon they added into it, and all the new moves I thought were really cool. Some stupid moves like do retarded things like water poles, like confuse your enemies, just retarded things I would put on my Pokemon. Also, there's like Tyler was talking about the legendary Pokemon, like Kyogre and Groudon, which you can totally douche up and like teach Groudon like Solar Beam, so then like he can just use it all the time because he always makes it a sunny day. Or you can be Kyogre and make it rain all the time and just use Thunder because that'll never miss. So, or you can go the route of catching Latios and Latias or whatever. And those are fun at the end to catch, but the fun was kind of ruined for me because I basically just put a Pokemon that was like level 39 or something in my party as my front Pokemon, and then I put on max repels and I went around the world once and I found it, and then I used a Master Ball. So it pretty much took all the fun out of it for me. But overall, the third gen was probably the second best gen compared to Generation 2, but it was just basically Gen 2 on crack. So.
Generation 3 has to be my favorite generation. Just because of all the things they add. First of all, you get running shoes, so you don't have to walk everywhere. You get bike. You get a bike with 2 different speeds. You can go fast, you can go slow and hop. You get weather. You get different regions. You get to go into a desert and find fossils or whatever, even though you only get one, which kind of sucks. Even you get to make your own fort in a tree, and there's rain, and there's different side missions like going through the weather center and getting cast form, and especially the biggest thing that I loved, you know, Generation 1, Generation 2 had Team Rocket, and like I said, Zubat and Coughing and Rattata get really old after a while. They had Team Magma and Team Aqua. It adds a little more to it, and it was pretty cool. Like in each game you face a different one, and
I think Emerald can face both.
yeah, and like, you know, they have some different Pokemon. It's kind of cool. It offers a little more of a challenge. The new Pokemon were awesome, to say the least. And the best thing about it was in the first 2 games, like the first generation, you went into a cave to find Mewtwo. The second games, yeah, you kind of went on a little bit of adventure, but it's still you went into a cave to find Lugia, or you went up in a tower to find Ho-Oh. In these games, with Groudon and Kyogre, you went on this little mini adventure, like facing Team Aqua and Team Magma here and there, and either diving or going places while it's like raining heavily or it's really sunny. And they add a little more adventure until you get up to them, and then when you finally catch them, it's like, you go through this little mini adventure. It's awesome, and just the different things they had in it, like the cities themselves. Like the one city, there's like it's in a bunch of trees, and the other city you have to dive to get into, and they have this like ice cave up in the top right of the map, and just so many different things they add to it, and that's what really sold the game for me. Really, like, you know, they had the better graphics and everything just seemed to be a little more advanced, and it just, I don't know, I really, really like that, and I'm gonna buy them when we go to the mall today. But
Why don't you just
yeah.
download them? You can just do that.
Because that's for bitches and technologically advanced.
I'll give you a
people.
copy.
I'll give you a copy of my wiener.
Okay.
Keith.
Alright, really quickly, because I thought about this while you guys were talking, because I got Pokemon, I think I'm playing Blue right now on my computer. The two most annoying Pokemon ever, which you've talked about twice now, is Zubat. I fucking hate Zubat, because you're in those caves, and all you do is
Yeah,
encounter...
they're
The other one is
fucking bitch.
Abra, because I really want a fucking Abra, and the second you enter battle, you basically have to throw a Pokeball at it and hope, with it full health, and hope that it catches him, otherwise we'll just teleport the fuck away. Okay. Now back on topic.
Same way with like
Hypnosis
Entei
or
fleeing.
something.
What?
Try to use hypnosis or something.
I tried paralyzing it, but then there's not a 100% chance that it'll work. So,
Okay.
but in Gen 3, like I said with Gen 2, it's like the last thing where they made changes that were better and they weren't unnecessary. Like all the things Sam talked about, the running shoes, the weather, all those things just made it better. Actually having Groudon and Kyogre a part of the main storyline. It's like a little mini adventure. I really enjoyed that about this game. This is the last generation of Pokemon I really got into. I mean, I also played Pokemon Coliseum, and I actually had Deoxys that I managed to figure out how to transfer over from.
Another one I didn't put in. He's on.
I know, but I got him from Pokemon Coliseum and transferred him over. I did that, and yeah, I enjoyed it. This game was also, I couldn't do it, which I hated it. But then my friend, I got Mew because I had Emerald for a little while, and then I had to get rid of it. I got Mew and Emerald because through like a weird holiday, like I guess pre-order season thing, there was an event that they put in the game that you could catch Mew.
Fuck you.
And I had Mew, and I had to get rid of the game, and I was very sad. And yeah, everybody else basically already talked about this, so...
Oh, plus they add shiny Pokemon in Generation
Yeah.
3, which is cool.
Oh, yeah, right.
Just slight changes to get.
Was this to Generation? Because I know you could do it in like Leaf Green and Fire Red and stuff,
I
where you
forgot about
could
those.
take, if you had like a link, you could take your Pokemon from like the other Generation 2 and put them in this one. Or
Well,
You
could
could
Generation
take- you
3,
could
yeah,
take
you
Gen-
could,
You could not
yeah,
take
like you could take Pokemon
from Gen 3 and move it, yeah.
you
could
could
not
be
be-
to move it to Leaf Green
Yeah.
or something.
Also,
Yeah,
that's one.
Also, yeah, I wanted to talk about Fire Red and Leaf Green. I thought they did really good remaking the originals. They added, like, if you picked, I'll use an example. If you picked Bulbasaur as your first Pokemon, then after you beat the Elite Four, Entei would roam around the world, like in Generation 2, and you could go catch Entei. After you beat the game, there was an island you could find. You could find a lot of Gen 2 Pokemon and a couple Gen 3. And they took Gen 1, added all the things, except for I don't think they added the weather and the whole time, the daylight and nighttime thing, but they made Gen 1 better. Alright, now.
Didn't they do that with Emerald? There was some island you could go to. It was like a sort of a battle frontier type thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. And also back to like Gen 2 and stuff. I forget if it was Gen 1, but that battle tower.
That was Gen
Talk-
2 and Crystal.
Yeah,
That's Gen
Crystal,
2.
that was fun. It pissed me off because you never got experience for it. Yeah.
Ah.
Okay.
Gen 4, Diamond and Pearl. I played
And Platinum.
in Platinum. Yeah, I've played Diamond, I believe. I kind of forget it. Not that it was a terrible game. It was fun and stuff. I forget a lot about it, so I'm not really going to talk much. But I just remember it being fun. I just forget it.
Okay.
Because I didn't get to play it, I didn't play it as much as I played the other generations. But, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm basically gonna say kind of what you said. I didn't even own any of the games ever at any point. I used a lot of Gen 4 Pokemon and the moves when I played on it was a Pokemon online battle simulator I was playing a couple years back. And you basically get any of the Pokemon from any of the gens on there, and I actually happen to use a good bit of Gen 4s on my team. In particular, I used the starter Pokemon. One of the coolest starters I think I've ever seen is Empoleon. It's a fucking penguin, it's water and steel type. Can't get much more badass than that. And just a lot of Pokemon Gen 4, I still saw some originality to them, as opposed to, well, Gen 5, which we'll talk about. Anyway.
It starts to wane though, some of the originality. In Gen
It
4.
does, but I still think it's somewhat on par with other games.
The first thing about like the Pokemon, it sort of follows that Generation 2 type thing, where Generation 2, you know, you had like Magmar and Jinx, I think, and a couple other ones or whatever. Then you got the second generation, they made like babies of them. When we got to the fourth generation, they made even more evolved forms that they had.
Right, they had new Electabuzz, whatever it was I believe.
Yeah.
I like the kid.
No, there was one above him then.
Yeah.
Electus, so, I don't know what it was, but
Oh, yeah,
I used him
right.
in my battle simulator.
But yeah, they added some new Pokemon. They had like a twist on some old Pokemon. For the most part, the Pokemon were kind of average. I mean, yeah, you had your birds, and then you had your bugs that somehow evolved into like butterflies and moths. And those repeating things. They did add a couple cool Pokemon, like the fossil ones. I really like the T-Rex one. I forget the name. But there's like a T-Rex type fossil Pokemon. I thought that was pretty cool. And the one thing I just didn't really care for is every game prior had their main legendary. It was Gold, Silver, Ho-Oh, and Lugia, Originals Mewtwo, and Groudon, Kyogre. Emerald had Rayquaza. It's just these games had their main ones, and then they just added like a whole bunch of other legendaries that I just kind of lost track of. But for some reason you couldn't even really get in the games unless you got an action replay like me and put in a bunch of cheats and stuff. But then it didn't even feel like you really got them because you would just kind of walk around in the grass and put in the code modifier and it would just pop up and you catch it and it's not that fun. But for the most part, the main legendaries that you got, the story and the line to getting them, it was cool, but I feel like it failed in comparison to Ruby and Sapphire. I love just the road to get those legendaries. But the game did have its high points, like going underground, or like in the whole Wi-Fi area, and making your own fort, just like in Generation 3 where you could do it in a tree. Do it in a tree. And then Generation 4, they had their, they had some cool things, but I feel like, I don't know, it's just sort of, it was cool. When you're playing it, it's really fun. It's just, you know, Generation 3, for me, outdid it. And they did seem to, it was clear they started to run dry on ideas a little bit. But they did add a few things, and it was still cool. They did take away dive and things like that, but I don't think they used dive in any Generation besides 3. But they,
I thought dive was retarded, honestly. I thought it was just a retarded version of Fly.
Yeah. Wasn't the ending of the story like, I could be wrong, but what, you like on top of some like fucking mountain, and you like then catch one of them or something.
Yeah,
I just
something
remember
like
the
that.
ending being like epic as fuck.
Yeah, the endings were kind of cool like that.
That's
It
all
was
I
pretty
remember.
neat. Platinum was cool. Like Platinum, just like Crystal and just like Emerald, had a little bit of twist on the main games, but
And like yellow.
yeah. But
Never touch a drop of Gen 4. Yep, I have nothing to add.
Okay, well,
I have nothing to add about Generation 5. I've never played them.
Generation 5, they ran out of ideas and just went to hell, and they made a Pokemon about garbage. It's literally a bag of garbage.
I also feel like they're running out of colors. They did black and white, and then they did black and white too. They're running out of colors to use.
Or precious metals.
It was like
Or
gray
precious
and
metals.
eggshell white or something.
What purple?
Pokemon eggshell white, Pokemon garbage can. I don't know.
Generation 5, I feel the Pokemon definitely, I've lost track of them because they just honestly retarded. I tried, the show was on the other day, some
Tried to
new
watch it.
Pokemon, I tried watching it and like, the Pokemon were just weird and they ended up, you know how Pokemon would just like roar or something that they used to? Now every single Pokemon just says their name and it's kind of gay. It's like, why the fuck are you just saying your name? You're supposed to roar or something. You're like a dinosaur, or like a crocodile. You don't say rah, rah, rah,
Yeah.
rah. You're supposed to roar or something cool. But I've seen the gameplay for Black and White because I was really close to buying them before because they do look interesting. The gameplay, like that's Pokemon's strong suit though. Even though if you hate the Pokemon, the gameplay is really cool. and I've seen the gameplay, and just the maps and some of the cities, they just look extraordinary compared. They look so futuristic to just thinking back to Ruby and Sapphire. It's like even
Or have
Diamond
to,
and Pearl.
go into like huts or whatever.
What?
Like Ruby and Sapphire have to go into like huts or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like, I saw some gameplay, and there's like these huge buildings, and it's just the whole storyline sort of seems like it's really interesting. It's one of those things, I haven't played it, but it looks really interesting, like I want to play it. But I haven't.
Yeah. Gen 5, like everybody's kind of alluded to, they kind of ran out of ideas for Pokemon. I mean, one of the things, this might even be Gen 4. They added, it's like a pine cone, and it evolves into another flying bug type Pokemon. Like yeah, like if
like every generation.
like at first, like yeah, Butterfree and Beedrill were cool and all those and Venomoth, but they just keep using the same types, and that's all I have to say, because I really don't like Gen 5.
Well, I think that's enough on this video.
But, did any of you guys ever play the Rescue Team games?
I never did.
Dungeon Rescue?
Yeah.
I played Mystery Dungeon,
You the red
but they're
and blue.
different.
Yeah,
They were
I
pretty
tried.
cool.
I couldn't get into it.
I'll admit
Yeah.
the Red is badass, and the Explorers of Time and
What
Darkness.
was-
They use the same story, and it kind of gets stale.
What was that one Pokemon game on GameCube? Pokemon.
Coliseum?
Was it Coliseum?
Where there's the shadow Pokemon, you gotta
Yeah.
I played that.
That's
Pokemon Ranger was just disappointing. No one ever play that game. I
Poke-
bought
dude.
that game, and it was just.
Pokemon Pinball.
Oh hell yeah! Yeah!
I played that all the
Pokemon
time.
Snap was cool. But
Pokemon Snap's
Yeah.
amazing.
Ruby and Sapphire, that's where it's fucking at. Weather, bitch.
Crystal, man.
Weather. You don't have weather.
Yellow.
Crystal. Yellow is a pussy color.
Yeah.
Alright, yeah. This is Because We Care with Tyler and Sam from Weekly Metal Reviews.
Signing off.
Bye.
Peace out.
Signing on.